the coast of Riviera Beach, Florida, where we left the dock earlier this morning. We're going to drop in right onto the bow of the Anna Cecilia and check out the coral reef growth there. The Anna was sunk in 2016 to provide substrate for an artificial reef.
Built in 1972, the Anna Cecilia originally served as a humanitarian aid vessel, bringing goods from Miami, Florida to Havana, Cuba in 2012. In 2015, U.S. Homeland Security seized the boat after discovering over 900 pounds of cocaine stashed in a compartment on board. The ship was gifted to Palm Beach County's Department of Environmental Resource Management and was eventually sunk in 85 feet of water in 2016. About 1.25 miles off the coast.
And then we're going to continue on down the wreck trek and see some of the older ships that have been intentionally sunken to the sea floor in order to provide substrate for coral reef.
The goal of these artificial reefs is not to replace natural reefs, but to relieve the pressures put on them by increasing environmental harm. Creating these shipwreck reefs requires extreme cleaning of the vessel to ensure that no harmful chemicals or materials are released into the ocean. The Anna Cecilia has experienced substantial growth since 2016. Corals, algae, and sponges cover the surface of the boat, providing a food source for smaller reef fish. We quickly noticed 2 omnivorous queen angelfish feeding from the growth on the ship's hull. When ships are sunken, they quickly attract schools of smaller fish. Over time, algae, corals, sponges, and other invertebrates begin to colonize the structure as well. Eventually, apex predators such as sharks, barracudas, and Goliath groupers arrive. At this point, the shipwreck has gone from a decaying man-made vessel into a complex marine ecosystem. The inside of the wreck is covered in orange cup coral, a species known to thrive without the presence of sunlight. Unfortunately, orange cup coral is an invasive species that has been known to crowd the substrate, leaving little room for native sponges and corals to grow. On the outside of the wreck, we saw 1 Goliath grouper and 1 barracuda, a positive sign for the Anna Cecilia artificial reef, meaning that 2 apex predators have made their way to the area. As we continue our dive, we drift in the current away from the Anna Cecilia towards the wrecks of the USS Mizpah and the PC 1174. The USS Mizpah was a United States Navy patrol yacht built in 1926. It was sunk in 1968 as part of a marine restoration project. A day later, the PC 1174 was anchored to the Mizpah's bow and sunk as well. Both of these wrecks have suffered damage from multiple hurricanes over the years, but still remain partially intact on the ocean floor. The growth of algae and invertebrates on the wreckage of the Mizpah and the PC 1174 was much more dense than the Anna Cecilia in parts that weren't damaged by hurricanes. These wrecks also had a higher presence of apex predators. We saw 4 Goliath groupers and 1 nurse shark. Goliath groupers are recognized as a critically endangered species that face critically low population levels, mostly due to destructive fishing practices. As an ambush predator, they are often drawn to caves and shipwrecks for habitat. The Goliath grouper is considered an umbrella species and an apex predator that supports ecosystems by maintaining balance. Since the Mizpah and PC 1174 have been on the ocean floor for much longer, the complex ecosystem has had more time to develop, likely resulting in higher numbers of apex predators and more dense coral growth. The invasive cup coral was also spotted many times on the surface of the Mizpah and the PC 1174. The lionfish, another invasive species, was also found at this wreck site. Lionfish have poisonous spines and have very few natural predators outside of their native home. Lionfish can be detrimental to coral reef ecosystems by consuming herbivore fish species. Without these herbivore fish species, the reef can be overgrown with algae. Florida's coral reefs are one of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the world. Stretching over 350 miles, they are home to countless marine species and are vital to coastal protection. Climate change, overfishing, pollution, and invasive species are all threats facing Florida's coral reefs today. Artificial shipwreck reefs attract divers and fishermen, and they reduce foot traffic and fishing activities on coral reef ecosystems that are already struggling. This can give natural reefs space and time to recover from the overuse and degradation that they have faced for many years. Shipwreck reefs can provide alternative habitats for fish, crustaceans, and other sea creatures, allowing populations to stabilize or even recover. Over time, artificial reefs can become a new home for displaced coral species. Artificial shipwreck reefs are not a replacement for natural coral reefs, but they are a solution to relieve the environmental pressures placed on them by human activity. By providing alternative habitats and promoting marine biodiversity, these man-made structures contribute to the survival of Florida's underwater ecosystems.